There was a time when I could walk into a library or a hotel with just my contest folder, accordion folder, and my teeth in my mouth and run a contest or be a contest master or be a chief judge. COVID blew that away. Now there's online contests require a lot more prep work. Hybrid contests require even more prep work and attention to some different details in order to make them work right. But the fundamentals are still good because you need to start early. You need to communicate often so everybody knows what's going on. And you need to learn and pay attention to the details. In person, online, hybrid. There's just more details if you're online and hybrid, and more details if you're hybrid. First things first, download the 2 contest kits. We're doing international because we have to do international every year. And we're doing table topics because we're on a alphabetical rotation and humorous was last year, or this year. Download the contest best practices, print and read the contest rule book and guideline. What highlights in there where stuff is important, and especially the stuff that has been challenged in the past that you have to defend. Then put together a preliminary planning meeting with your contest team. And then make or obtain a checklist. My contest planner used to be up on the District 8 website. I think they took it down. If anybody wants to give me their email address, I will send you one. It's an Excel workbook. It's got tabs for club contest, club potluck table signups, you know, commit to meatballs or salad or something like that. Then go over date, time, venue, cameras. You got a whole bunch of stuff that you need to start working on. Hopefully, by the time you have that planning meeting, you got a chief judge and a contest meeting. Contest master. You're not going to need a pattern speaker because our evaluation is going to be the year in 2005. 25, excuse me, 25. Then who's going to be doing the recruiting? If you can get a well-connected and helpful chief judge, the chief judge can recruit the judges. Consider a graphics designer, somebody to make and enhance the certificates. You're going to need virtual backgrounds, timer signals, and all that good stuff, depending on what format. Yes.
Can't get the TI with the certificates from TI.
Yes, you can. Excuse me. But even before COVID, my contest certificate folder was about this thick. So and I'll get into this later, I started doing gag gifts and quit handing out certificates. And my personal favorite is 1-inch squares of chocolate, fleur-de-lis from Cacao. Right. And if you hand out chocolate, it's easier to get people to come to your next contest. Yes, sir.
How does it,
What?
I ask, how does that work? Because everything except district is virtual. Are you talking about the club level?
Club level, right? And again, well, in person, I was handing out $40 worth of chocolate every contest I ran, or was chief judge in. But that was just me.
Did
Yes.
I hear correctly, and it's not a rhetorical question.
Sure.
At the last meeting that we had, leadership meeting, I thought Rhonda said that she was going to be ordering certificates across the board. Is
That's
that,
just trophies.
I don't know if it was, I don't remember which way it was going. I thought it was certificates only from a male point of view. But that somebody was ordering because she didn't want pick it, area 4 got trophies for their contest, but area 6 got certificates for theirs, and she didn't want people getting a different experience, and so they were all gonna order something that was consistent. I don't know if that's
It was
accurate.
Trophies.
So it is
Yes.
trophies,
Right.
which is great by me. Like I said, I remember there was she mentioned something about mail, and that's what made me think certificate. Regardless, I knew that it was supposed to be consistent, and I was almost thinking, okay, good, I'm gonna check that off. That's something that I wouldn't need to worry about ordering, because somebody else is doing the ordering so that everybody gets the same thing. But
We'll
is
get
that
into this later.
okay?
All right, trophies are provided at district. Trophies are provided by the district at division.
Mhm.
As an area director, I think you have $10 a trophy allowance. So you gotta be careful what you order and how you order it.
Right, like I said, I wasn't sure if I needed to order
And then,
anything,
the
if somebody
con-
else was
You sure
doing
about that?
this
excuse me,
Are you sure?
about the send out.
I mean,
Because I thought.
Rhonda might
I thought
Rhonda might be doing something different this year.
What Rhonda, as I recall, what she said is not only trophies are provided all the way down to the area. And,
Which is a change from all previous years.
and as a matter of fact, she's already down.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
But we're also talking about club contests here.
Yeah.
And if you're running a club contest, you gotta get
that's different,
a
right?
trophy.
We can confirm it with her. I just wanted to make sure I knew something to do or something.
Are you
Done.
talking as an area?
I'm talking about area contests is what I'm talking about.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I can see Rhonda doing that.
Yeah.
And
I just want to make
she
sure I
ought to
got
get
my facts
she ought to
straight.
get see, control of words, expletive deleted. She ought to get a very good discount
I would think
with that
so.
volume.
Yeah.
And that'll affect the, even though she's paying more, the price per unit ought to be going down.
Right.
Right.
Anyway, I don't want to derail your presentation here. It just,
That pitch right in. I try and buzz through this thing and then do Q&A, but in this case, I think we might not have critical mass for a good Q&A session afterwards. So feel free to jump right in here and we'll just pull the plug at 11:50. Date, time, and venue. Your clubs, your normal meeting setup. You can do hybrid, and if you're gonna do hybrid, you gotta pay for you gotta pay attention to some extra details. You can do it in person if that's how you meet in person. If you're online, do it online. Do it however, use the format that your club uses. The executive or the district council voted to do the 2004 area and division contests online, Zoom. We have 2 Zoom licenses, which will allow many, many people to attend. And I think Sharice was talking about, she started parceling those out. The district will be in person, which is gonna maybe make the contestants' life a little bit different, because you win in your living room, but then you gotta show up. So it's gonna be a little different. Trophies. We've been through this. If you are buying the trophies, in particular, I guess it's all club this year, 2 good sources. One is international. Pay attention to the engraving costs, because that's pretty expensive at international. And watch these shipping dates, because they tend to be a little slow. And if you go to them last minute, you might not have trophies in time. Crown Trophy here in St. Louis, they've got a couple of outlets. They're very good to work with. They know us. They know that we are cheap. If you give them a day or 2 notice, when you go there, they can show you what your predecessor ordered the last 2 years or so, because they'll bring up the orders. Good to work with. Highly recommend them. Now, you need a contest master. The rule book assumes that the chair will be the contest master, or the master of ceremonies of the contest. The rule book also has a term called contest toastmaster. District 8 mangles that into contest master. So when you read in the rule book that the chair is doing this during the contest, it's really the contest master is doing this, because our contest master is our master of ceremonies. Introduces the speakers, conducts the interviews, and briefs the contestants, because the rules say you got to brief the contestants, and because that's the honest, fair thing to do. So you need 3 scripts, 1 for the briefing, 1 for each contest. Got to be prepared. Throw some people under the bus, because we need some new people to learn how to be contest masters. All right. Oops, excuse me. Your chief judge. Needs to know the rule book. Needs to bring a hard copy of the rule book, so there's not a lot of putzing around online. Then your chief judge also needs a script for briefing timers, ballot counters, and judges. Again, we need some new blood. Throw some of these younger members under the bus. Get them to, yes.
Does the chief judge have to be the one that briefs the timers?
Yeah.
It has to be.
That's my read. That's my memory of the rules. If I remember it right, the chief judge, they don't use shall which is the contractual word, chief judge will brief timers, ballot counters, and judges. It's in the rule book.
That's a big briefing.
I can get through it.
Virtually, it's a big briefing.
I can get through it in 30 minutes. I never made it that far, but I have actually seen PowerPoint. Right. And the way I do it is I brief the timers first, and then I throw them out, tell them to go to the contestant briefing so they can demonstrate the timing signals for the contestants. I was doing that pre-COVID, and now especially people need to see the backgrounds and be able to recognize what's going on.
And they should do a little AD, BC thing with the COVID, like just say like PC for pre-COVID and AC for after COVID.
No, I'm not gonna give it that much. Thank you, Julie. Right. Then decide who's gonna be doing the recruiting. Again, it's in the guidelines, it's not in the rules. But the chief judge, if the chief judge is good and well connected, can recruit the judging panel for you. We use the word functionaries. The rule book says contest officials. And the way I read the rule book, contest officials also includes the judges of all three flavors. Invite some dignitaries. I've always preached, go to the District 8 website, start inviting all of the pictures. Go for, get the dignitaries, especially at a club contest, area contest, sign them up as judges. That's part of what having your mug up on the website is all about. I try for, whenever I'm involved, I try for 10 judges. And 4 hot seats. The January 2020 contest, in-person crossroads club contest, St. Joseph's Church on the Baldwin-Manchester border, had 4 people not show up without notice, 4 judges. Wound up putting all the hot seats to work. Okay, so don't expect everything to go swimmingly, especially in addition to life happening. People can have outages, thunderstorms, power outages, stuff like that. So have your hot seats. You need a Zoom master, somebody to, especially at area, division, at district, we've been up to 3 because you're controlling who's getting into the meeting, you're controlling throwing people into breakout rooms and letting them out one at a time. So there's a lot of work that goes on. I do not know how that works because I haven't gotten the training. I will point out to you that later this month, Tom looks like he's gonna, Tosh is gonna be running a bunch of Zoom master training, webmaster trainings, hopefully to support the contest. And again, it's probably not so heavy now post-COVID when we're online, but having a nice program with good graphics on it helps, rather than just type up a word list of who the competitors are. Again, participation certificates, gag gifts, my fleur-de-lis. Now, who wants to do a work session? Who's got a,
Well, I have a question.
yes,
Are all the area contests gonna be Zoom only?
yes,
No hybrids?
no hybrid. That was, as I understand it, it was, that was a vote of the
Yeah,
district council. So it's Zoom, in person.
And do you foresee next year that the area contest will ever go back to in person?
it's on the internet.
You know, I've got a lot of nostalgia. Right. Crossroads, my home club, was working up a very good contest tradition. We had cranked up our potluck table to the point that it was very easy to get people to volunteer to come be hot seats or judges because they knew they would be fed well. And
There was a time in all of the contests, area above the area, well, at the area level above, they were dinners. And
you
the
can do it
dinners
like that.
actually paid for the,
Yeah.
paid for the whole contest, trophies and everything. That was back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, it got a, since 2010, it's been a little bit more subdued.
Yeah.
There's been too many boxes of donuts. And with or without coffee, but
But it was a change in the audience.
And it-
Toastmasters.
right, and yes, but you could still generate a party atmosphere when the chief judge and ballot counters were out of the room. And I got some very good memories, including getting my head handed to me when I unwisely got involved in an informal, and I stress informal, meatball contest. And I'm talking taste and
I
texture,
think,
not projectile.
yeah, I like the expression, head interviews. I've heard that one, but not like that.
So I went back to hummus. I have a reputation for it. Let me see if I can work this thing. Whoa.
Recording yourself.
All right. Who wants to do a contest?
I will, because I have to. I gotta pull one off.
All right, hang on a minute. Let me get the cheaters.
I'm not as
I hear ya.
prepped as Pamela was.
You guys can all help me. Area 4. I'm recruiting everybody in this room.
Okay. Let's see if I can make this work. Area 4,
Area 4.
right?
Great, you can be my scribe and then you can email this to me.
Yes, that's the plan. All right,
Excellent.
what, all right. Got a date?
Yes,
I'm sorry, all right.
you keep going,
I
okay.
wanted to ask you to possibly do a modification in what you're doing, just
Sure.
for the purpose of, because some of us may run into this. Even though. Why don't, for the sake of example, you make this a. Two contests. You know how sometimes we end up having to do. Like area 4, it's area 4 and area 20
Combined?
combined.
Oh, yeah. Really, the whole thing is the same.
I know, but
And
that's why I was.
the details in the planning don't change. You just wind up with, when you print your program, you've got 2 sets of names for each contest. And you gotta roll the dice and decide which area goes first.
Yeah.
And that way you and the other area director will remain friends.
Okay.
But the plan,
And you can share functionaries, right? In other
That's why I
words,
was asking.
if
That's where it gets really.
but can't you just copy paste? I mean, if it's.
no, let's back this up. And if I gotta claim credibility, my first high performance leadership project was a dual area contest. S that I put on because we lost a area director and I was helping out a friend who I later wound up serving on a trio with. Right. But it's the same setup, the same way of doing it. If a judge is in the room, the judge can judge all 4 contests. Right? And there's nothing in the rules that prevent that. There's nothing in District 8 conventions and practice that prevent that. The only thing that is different is that at the end of each contest now, it's a 2-year-old rule, you gotta say area 5 contest is closed. We will now go to international speech contest is adjourned. We will now start the area X international speech contest.
Oh, all right, okay.
And the judges now have to turn in 4
Balance.
ballots, 4 sets of results. So other than a little more paperwork, or in this case, some more emails floating around, saving the trees. It's pretty much the same. And I'm working with an area director right now who has only one, is gonna have only 1 contestant in each contest. And she's looking for somebody to partner up with.
What area?
F-15,
Oh,
Renee Reynolds.
okay. I was trying to combine with areas, I don't wanna derail us here too much. I was trying to combine with area 6 because, which I'm now not finding on the website. I was trying to find the time. I can tell you the date for area 4, which is February 17th.
Okay.
But I saw there was another area that was having their contest also on the 17th and the time difference was like 30 minutes. So it's like, well, maybe we take these 2 areas and we do it combined and then there's just one Zoom, one blah, blah, blah. But then she said that she didn't think she was gonna have any of her clubs participating that they weren't gonna do a contest for Area 6. Okay, so I guess I'm back to by myself, which is fine. But anyway, that's why I asked. I thought if something changed or if there was some overlap, then we might be able to do something there, but
I don't understand how the area director could know this early, that there would only be one contestant.
Because she's been in good communication with with her clubs. And her clubs are telling her that they don't want to.
I think we need to work on the clubs to send participants.
Yes, it's called, well, how can I say this? We need to give them positive encouragement to send people to area to participate.
Especially since it's Zoom, you don't even have to get up and go anywhere.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
travel costs.
I think the only problem we can run into is that some people that may want to participate in a contest are ineligible. Whether
Or
it's pathways or
the
because they're serving the district. So if you're serving in a district role, then it's like, well, you can't then,
Yeah.
I can't participate in the contest this year as much as I love hearing the sound of my own voice. But I can't participate this year.
Yes,
I'm guessing they're probably not gonna prevent you from sitting there cheering though, or,
well, really, you,
I mean, I like cheering, like spectating, sort of,
yes.
yes.
Right, and just going back to my in-person experience. At these things. We used to have, we used to block the hallway. And set up a trading post. Or we generate a trading post. So you get an area director coming this way, you ambush that area director. I'll work your contest, you work my contest. Then another one would come up. Everybody supports each other. And that makes it a lot easier. But that was when we had 100 or so people show up for these things. But, you know, we'll get there.
There's other ways too,
Oh, yeah,
because I know one of the things I've learned is I need a lot of friends on Zoom area, I mean, District 20, District 16. But in other words, you know, you don't have to stay within District 8, you can go outside of it.
yeah, we apparently have a pretty strong connection to District 100 in California. A lot of people, a lot of their members are also members of a District 8 club and vice versa. As long as as long as the member meets the qualifications. I've actually been a spectator at a Mumbai contest for as a favor for one of our keynote speakers a few years back. You know, I stayed up till 2:30 in the morning, but
I was gonna ask you what time was.
and he won. And it was Division M, do the math. Division M semi runoffs.
Well, Rhonda had a lot of international judges last year for her division.
Okay. Cool. If it's there, use it. Now, you're not gonna get too many people from Mumbai come to the conference in April. So, you know, use the resources that you got. And don't be, main thing is don't be bashful about picking up the phone, however you do it, and asking somebody for help.
But also people should ask people who aren't area directors, because last year I was an area director and I was bombarded with requests and I was judging, I don't know how many contests I judged, 6, 7, you know, and it was a little too much, but
But you can blame me because I tell everybody to,
See, I was gonna say.
I tell everybody to go on the website, start at the top and just keep inviting people all the way down.
But I think people forget that they can just ask people, just club members, you know,
Sure.
and because there, I mean, a lot of club members have never been asked to be a judge, and they would do it if somebody asked them to do it.
Sure.
I was gonna suggest you could be blackmailed.
Say again?
You could be blackmailed for us not to tell Dick you said that.
Oh, no, if
But you've been doing it so long.
you can take me by the hand and I'll go
Worst
admit
kept
to
secret
anything.
in the world. No, but that's actually what I was planning to do is send the word out within my area clubs.
Right.
It's to your point earlier about getting some new blood.
Yep.
Is, look, you don't have to have completed a half a dozen speeches and pathways to be a timer at a contest. Just be a timer at a contest. You have a stopwatch? Okay, here, can you change your thing to green, yellow, and red? You're good, thanks. Come do it and see what happens. But
What I have found is you need to have enough knowledge and good enough equipment and a connection that you can use the colored virtual backgrounds.
Mhm.
I was gonna ask, when it comes to area of, to the area up, is there a
Standard?
thank you, a standardly required timing block device for virtual? Because there are all kinds of virtual timing.
No, and this is an important point. You lead me to an important point. If it is not banned by the rules, which run about 3/4 of the way through that booklet, and then there's followed by guidelines, which are not the rules. Right? There is no rule specifying
The type of timing.
the type of timing device.
Is there anything what not to do? Since you brought that up, there's band, so there's, what's the not to do? Like it,
I have several written judgments from Big T. We call them Toastmasters. Anybody doesn't know 1984? Right. If it is not banned by the rules, it is probably accepted. Right? What you want is, number one, you shouldn't, some of these timing backgrounds scroll the clock. You don't want a clock. You want solid color, and you want some indication for the colorblind people of the, GYR. Other than that, you plug in a little plug in the TM logo in an out of the way corner. Great. While we're on that topic, you and I can have a work session.
Okay, no, that'd be
Right.
great, thanks.
While we're on that topic, the thing we ran into we finally got to last year, have everybody turn off their video when the contestant is announced. And during the briefings, the contestant should be instructed to go to their video settings and select hide non-video participants. The three timers stay visible because they stay on. The contest master should shut off video after announcing the contestant. So she disappears, he disappears. So yes. So it should just be when your online contestant is looking,
They're looking right at the time.
look, yeah. Should be, there's three timers and themselves, right? It's a sacrifice because you're not getting audience feedback. And we screwed around for a couple of years, excuse me again, because of that audience feedback rule, but we kept running into all these technical difficulties. So last year, we pretty much decided to bag the audience feedback.
Well, because not everybody seems to pick up on how to pin. So if you're the,
Right.
exactly, so if you're the speaker and there was, yeah, you kind of wanted to see everybody, but at the end of the day, you need to know when that thing's gonna go yellow on you.
Mhm.
And you're, and you don't want somebody to end up disqualified, so making sure that they know if they're within their time and everything. So yeah, it stinks, and yet, yeah, trying to get over that hurdle of how do you ensure that this person doesn't
Yes,
get screwed up?
it's the fairest combination for the contestants. Again, the rule book says you need two, so you need two to be legal. But we use a third one a lot of times. This was an idea from Tammy Adlin, who does disaster planning for a regional bank. I thought it was a little over the top, but then during our first online district contest, timer 2 disappeared, timer 3 had to pick it up.
It can happen.
It can happen, especially when you're online.
Especially in bad weather.
Yeah. So a requirement for timers is their equipment and their level of savvy should require them to do the virtual backgrounds. And I've been in some briefings where they didn't, but area and division contests, it's a little late for holding up the yellow cup and the red scissors and all that stuff. Okay, that's
I got a question.
sure.
During a virtual contest, have you ever lost a contest master?
Not yet. We've actually rescheduled some because of massive thunderstorms running through and knocking power out. That happened last year. In fact,
But what would you do? If
Uh,
that happened?
you just reschedule it.
The contest?
Yeah, we did it.
Now I'm talking about what if you lose
Let's
a
just,
contest master?
let's just
in the
say-
middle of a contest.
let's just say in the middle of contents, if someone drove a truck through a power pole and it knocked us out.
At that stage, it'd be a toss-up. You either use one of your hot seats as a contest master, or you reschedule. The chair can check, if the chair has recruited a contest master, the chair can step in. If a hot seat really, when I recruit a hot seat,
That has to be able to do that.
they need to be able to do anything. Because,
So the recommendation is have a hot seat.
yeah,
2 or 3.
right. And like I was saying, even in person, I put the hot seats to work. It's a concept I learned when I was area director. Oh, wait a minute. I did pick. South County, when I was in South County, had a hot seat as a standing agenda item, person. And then I reconnected with it when I was Area 12 director and visited Grand Center 5000 because they called it on call. But the opportunities, you know, you can't rule out somebody having a heart attack in the middle of an in-person
That's happening.
meeting. And I'm given the history, the 100-year history of this organization, there has to have been a cardiac event or two occurred during a contest, right? Just the
That is
statistic.
in 2014 in Division
Ooh, okay.
Frank Yates.
So, well, I'm sorry to hear that, but
Right in the middle of his contest.
Was he the contest master?
He was, let's just say he was emceeing at the time.
okay.
Oh,
Okay.
goodness.
And then what? Moving on.
I'm just saying it's happened.
Oh, yeah, it's happened.
It's happened.
Moving on, when we get back to in-person at district this next year, I've had very good success with 8.5 by 11 cards. Get the timer sit down front. Then to honor that thing about the judges not knowing the timing, the timer two holds them right up in front of their chest, so they're screening the signal with the body. Only the speaker can see it. Then you can also borrow, lights. There's all sorts of lightsy things. I like three pieces of construction paper because it's lower tech, less things to go wrong
Come on in person.
in person.
Like use an Uno card or something.
Pardon?
Uno card or something.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, 'cause it's-
people have done all sorts of crazy things. Red, yellow, and blue, or red, yellow, and green cups.
But then again, you don't have the color in for the color line.
Right. But you don't have the resolution. It's not 100%. Mumbai, a couple of years ago, the timer shared screen. And they pinned the speaker. So there were flipped between 4 PowerPoint slides: gray, G, yellow, Y. Gray, green, yellow, red. Just a point for the speakers in the House. Almost everybody went into the red, but did not disqualify. Very good use of the time.
The girls this year, they pinned, I was the only online competitor. And when I came up to give my speech, they pinned only me. I could not see my timers.
Right.
So as a speaker, I had the backup plan of just having my phone
Mhm.
sitting next, like on my laptop. And right when I started my own timer. And I made it to 6 minutes and 59 seconds. So even when you do have a timer, if you are speaking, I would say.
Especially virtual.
Oh, yeah.
yes. Because someone on site didn't keep my timer for me.
Was this a surprise?
Yes. Because I could see them off to the side while I was backstage.
Mhm.
We were talking, and I could see the MC, the contest chair. But the second they switched to me, I was the only thing I could see on my screen.
Jeez.
So is. Are some devices anywhere used where sound is also used?
Say again?
Have you ever heard of sound devices being used as timing devices?
Yes, matter of fact, the rules specify if someone is hearing and are visually impaired. The contest chair and contest master have to prearrange some sort of audible signal.
Thank you.
Right, so it could be somebody calling out the color. It could be somebody calling out the time.
Because I remember we had.
5, 6, and 7. Yeah.
From Kansas City.
Mhm. I think it was Collinsville,
I mean,
District.
he was from the Kansas City district.
and we actually had somebody hearing visually impaired at the Collinsville contest in whenever. And Becky wound up calling out the times when each card would have gone up.
Okay.
So, yeah. That, and then when you're online, your contest master needs to be maybe a little more theatrical before you get into the rules and regulations. Good example was our keynote speech this morning and the follow-up speech. Lot of good theatrics, and that is what you need to communicate to people over Zoom. Whether it's a contest or your preliminary job interview, you need to be more animated and vocal variety if you want to get the job.
What about the role of the sergeant?
You need as many sergeant at arms as you need. When we were back in a big ballroom, 3 sets of doors, you needed 6 sergeant at arms because you need a sergeant at arms outside, keeping people from coming in, and inside, keeping people from leaving. In addition, you need a sergeant at arms in the breakout room, maintaining order, or during evaluations, making sure that people are not working on their speech
Well, especially.
until they're called. And then in person, you need somebody to bring that contestant from the breakout, from the isolation room back during the minute of silence, so you're not.
So that's what I was curious about is especially about people in the breakout room, is sergeant room include ushers from home irritating.
It is one of the sergeant at arms. They don't specify it in the rules, but you need as many as you need. Right? Count the doors. It's going to be something new for us.
Count the doors virtually.
No. Virtually, you're going to need somebody in the breakout room. Just making sure that, just to confirm that the participants have included. When we get in person, we're going to have to give it some extra thought. And it appears that I am hit my deadline.
Art, thank you.
So, well, and I've only got partway through it because we moved the Q&A into the. What's your email? Well.
Yeah, I'm going to email you.
Sure.
That as well, but I